Hi everyone, I'm Juliet and this is my channel, Mamatried. Today I'm going to be talking about struggling with PCOS and infertility. When I was about 13, 14 years old, I had very irregular periods. So when I was about 15, my mom took me to her gynecologist. We had an appointment there and the doctor came in and told me that I had polycystic ovarian syndrome. I wasn't sure what that was, and she told me that I would never be able to have children on my own. Those are her exact words. Now, at 15 years old, you're not really thinking about having kids, and then you really start to think about it. So we went home that day feeling very confused. There was no information readily available for PCOS at that time. They didn't give me any pamphlets at the doctor's office. They didn't recommend a book to read or anything like that. Instead, she just put me on a birth control pill and said that it should help with my symptoms, but I still would never be able to have children on my own. Fast forward 18 years old, on and off throughout those years, I'm on different birth control pills. I'm starting to feel depressed. I'm gaining weight. My coworker recommends her gynecologist. She said that she is a specialist on PCOS, and I'm like, wow, a specialist? I didn't know that there was any specialist for it because there's barely any information about it. So I see her, and she starts to give me hope. She tells me that I most definitely will be able to have children even if I need help. So I now have hope. So she puts me on a new birth control pill, which does better than the ones that I was on before, but it still was just a birth control pill. My periods started becoming more regular. They weren't really regular per se, but that was just my PCOS and my symptoms. At 21 years old, I got engaged and I started working out and starting to treat my body better, living a more healthy lifestyle, eating better foods, and trying to treat my PCOS naturally. At about 22 years old, I started a vegan diet for about 6 months. I stopped 6 months after becoming vegan because I also have rheumatoid arthritis, and a doctor recommended to still eat dairy and meat because there are things in dairy and meat that my body needed. While I was vegan, I did feel really great. My body felt amazing up until that 6-month point whenever I started having problems with my rheumatoid arthritis. Whenever I was 23, I got married and me and my husband went on our honeymoon. On our honeymoon, with all of the stress and everything from the wedding and the packing for the honeymoon and doing everything, I totally forgot to take my pill. And I told my husband, oh my gosh, I forgot to take my pill. And he said, okay. And I was like, really? Like, that's okay with you? And he's like, well, we cannot not try to have a baby. And so we were not trying to have a baby at that point. So I got really excited. About 3 to 4 months in, to me not taking my birth control anymore, I still hadn't gotten my period yet. I started developing cystic acne that was really bad, and my hormones were fluctuating really bad because for all of these years I've been on birth control up until this point. But I was really wanting to straighten out my PCOS naturally and get off of the pill and be able to get pregnant in a healthy way. I was at the gym every day, maybe even twice a day. I was eating a great diet, but it was really still bothering me that I couldn't get my period back and I was developing this horrible acne. 5 months into trying, I did get my period back, but I was starting to lose hope. 6 months into trying, I was tracking my ovulation. I started obsessing over that, wondering, why am I not pregnant yet? That first doctor, her voice kept coming back into my head. You'll never be able to have children on your own. And I was really struggling at that time. 7 months in, I had talked to my doctor and she prescribed progesterone to help trick my body into ovulating to see if that would help me get pregnant. 8 months in, I was really depressed. I seemed honestly jealous of a lot of people because they would post pregnancy announcements. Everyone was happy. It's just that I wanted it so bad, and it seemed like everybody else was getting pregnant except for me. It's a very selfish way to think, but that's how I was thinking. I'm just being honest. 9 months in, I was really starting to lose hope, because at 12 months of trying, you're considered clinically infertile. 10 months in, I started taking Vitex that was recommended by a friend. I'm not sure if that helped me or not, but I did start taking Vitex, which I just bought at GNC. 11 months in, I started considering the thought of adoption, just the process of it. 12 months in, I was officially considered infertile, and so I made an appointment with my doctor's office, and they wanted to make it for around the time that I should be ovulating to do blood work and see if I actually was ovulating. I went into the office, had all that blood work done, and they told me that they should get the results back in about 7 days. So fast forward 7 days, me and my husband took a vacation with our really close friends to Florida, and we were having a really good time. I promised myself that I wouldn't focus on getting pregnant and all of that while I was doing this, because I needed a break, mentally, physically, everything. So we went and we had a really good time with our friends. The first and second day, I was cramping really bad, and I was just thinking I was going to get my period or whatever, but then I just didn't think about it anymore. The third day, me and my friend Lexi went shopping while all of the guys went out on jet skis, and I got a phone call from the doctor's office with my test results. I'll never forget that moment, because the nurse called and she told me that my blood was non-ovulatory, and so she scheduled me an appointment for whenever we got back so we could go over the next step and how to be referred to an infertility specialist. I was really upset. It broke me. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not gonna let this ruin my vacation. We can figure it out later. Of course, it still bothered me, but I did my best. I had a good time with my friends, and I remember the last day that we were there, my husband and I went to the beach on our own. We just kind of sat on the beach, and I asked him when he thought we would become parents. And he had always told me before just to stop worrying about it, and it would happen, just to stop worrying. And it was such a beautiful day. The next morning after us coming home, I woke up and I just didn't feel right. I was starving, first of all, like starving. Never been so hungry in my life. So I woke up and went to the bathroom, and I was like, I'm just going to take a pregnancy test. Even though I knew I was not pregnant, because the doctor's office told me my blood was non-ovulatory anyway. So I took a test, and for the first time out of, I don't even know how many tests, it was positive. And I just remember, I remember looking at the test. I remember looking at the test and saying, thank you, God. Thank you. Because I really didn't know it was possible. It was seriously one of the best moments in my life. I woke my husband up and I said, let's go to breakfast. And he's like, really, Juliet? I said, yeah, come on, get up, get ready, let's go to breakfast. And I set up my camera. I told him that he was going to be a dad, that we were going to be parents. And it was the most special moment ever.
I swear.
I've had this since we started trying. We're gonna be parents. Now I have a beautiful 7-month-old baby girl. It blows my mind, you guys. I just made this video to maybe give some hope to some of you guys that need it. Not to compare our situations, because none of them are the same. They're all completely different. All of our bodies are different. And so I just wanted to be a little bit vulnerable and share my story. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.